It's 7:43 on a Monday morning and you're sitting in a parking lot outside a job you're good at. Not late, not in trouble. Engine still running. You're just sitting there. Because somewhere between pulling in and putting it in park, your brain did that thing it does, the quiet calculation. The one where you figure out, again, that you could do this exact drive, park in this exact spot, sit at that exact desk for the next 31 years, and still not be free. Not broke, not failing, just not free. You go in anyway, because that's what you do, that's what everyone does, and that's exactly the problem. 3 weeks ago, a guy you went to school with posted something on Instagram. Not a yacht, not a Lambo, nothing flashy, just a Tuesday afternoon photo. Him, a coffee, a window somewhere warm. Caption said, "Office view today." That's it, no location tag, no explanation. And you sat with that image for longer than you'd like to admit. Because it wasn't the coffee or the view that got you, it was the Tuesday. It was the fact that he had a Tuesday, a real one, the kind that belongs to him. You and him, same school, same city, roughly the same start. And somewhere, at some point, something split. A decision, a habit, a number he understood that you didn't. My name is the Cash Logic Man, and I became obsessed with finding that exact moment. The invisible line between the person sitting in the parking lot and the person who never has to. Today we're going to talk about what the financial world wildly underexplains. What actually happens to your income, your time, your identity, and your entire relationship with Monday mornings the moment your money starts working harder than you do. And I promise by the end of this that parking lot feeling has a name, and more importantly, it has a solution. Because here's what nobody tells you when you're 40 hours deep into someone else's dream every single week. The gap between you and that Tuesday photo isn't talent, it isn't luck, it isn't even income. It's one number you've never been taught to track. Let's talk about that number. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you when you're 5 years deep into building wealth the wrong way. You don't just lose money when you finally stop chasing it. You lose the anxiety you stopped noticing you were carrying. Let's start with the numbers. Because the math here is more brutal than most people realize in both directions. The average American household takes home around $5,400 a month after taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and everything else that gets carved out before you even see the money. Now let's talk about where that money actually goes. Rent or mortgage, roughly $1,600 to $2,000 depending on where you live. That's already 30 to 37% gone before you've bought groceries. Car payment, insurance, gas, $450 to $600. That's another 8 to 11%. Groceries and food, $500 if you're disciplined, closer to $700 if you're not. Student loans for most people under 40, $250 to $400 a month. Phone, internet, streaming services you forgot you had, $150. Insurance, health, auto, renters, $300. Utilities, $120. By the time you've covered the mandatory stuff, the things that happen whether you want them to or not, you're at $4,100 to $4,400 a month. You have between $1,000 and $300 left. That's your entire margin, your entire buffer, your entire shot at building anything. And most people, they spend it. Not because they're irresponsible, but because $300 doesn't feel like it matters. It doesn't feel like enough to do anything with. So it becomes coffee. It becomes the meal out you didn't plan. It becomes the thing you tell yourself you deserve because you made it through another month. Which brings us to the real brutal part. The threshold every financial professional agrees on, the actual healthy ratio, is this. Your essential expenses should be no more than 50% of your take-home. Most people are running at 80 to 85% before they've made a single choice about their future, which means they're not actually choosing to be stuck. They're just stuck, and they think it's normal. Let me show you what I mean. Meet Marcus, 31 years old, single income, makes $65,000 a year. After taxes, takes home roughly $4,200 a month. Rent, $1,400. Car payment, $320. Insurance, gas, maintenance, $210. Phone and internet, $80. Groceries, $400. That's $2,490, 59% of his income. And he hasn't paid utilities, subscriptions, eaten a meal out, or saved a single dollar. He has $1,710 left. Sounds decent until you realize that $1,710 also has to cover electricity and water, $120. Netflix, Spotify, gym, $40. Going out, eating, socializing, $300. Unexpected costs. The car needs work, the apartment needs something, life happens, $200. That leaves $950. In theory. In reality, it disappears every single month without him ever seeing it move. Which is exactly why Marcus is doing what you're doing in that parking lot. Running the numbers on a Sunday night, knowing the answer, doing it anyway. Because here's what Marcus doesn't understand yet. The gap between him and the person taking a Tuesday isn't income. It's not even savings rate. It's one single decision about where that $950 goes, and it's a decision almost nobody makes because nobody teaches it. So here's what happens when Marcus makes that one decision. When he automates that $950, month 1, he doesn't feel different. The $950 moves into an index fund. He doesn't see it. Life continues exactly as it was. The remaining $0 disappears like it always does. That's the entire point. Month 3, he stopped thinking about it. The money leaves before he sees it, before his brain gets involved, before he can spend it on coffee or the meal he didn't plan or the thing he tells himself he deserves. It's just gone, working. Month 6, something shifts. Not dramatically, just quietly. He's at his desk on a Wednesday afternoon. His car makes a noise, a sound he's heard before. The kind that usually triggers immediate panic. The kind that means $600 he doesn't have. Money he'd have to choose between, fix the car, or eat properly for 2 weeks. And for the first time in years, he thinks, I could actually cover that. Not with his next paycheck, not with credit, but with the index fund that's been quietly growing while he slept, while he worked, while he ran numbers on Sunday nights. He doesn't touch it, but he could. That's not just a dollar amount. That's a psychological shift. That's the invisible weightlifting just enough to breathe. Year 1. Marcus has $5,700 in his index fund. That's $5,700 more than he had when he started. Plus, the market has done something with it. Small, barely noticeable, but something. Year 2. $11,400 contributed, but the account is sitting at $12,100. That extra $700 came from nowhere, from the market just doing what markets do over time. Year 3. $17,100 contributed, but his actual balance, $18,900. He's making money while he sleeps, while he works, while he sits in traffic, while he runs those Sunday night calculations. That's $1,800 he never worked for. Year 5. $47,500 contributed, but the balance is closer to $55,000. That's nearly $8,000 the market gave him for free. And here's what nobody tells you about the moment that number hits $50,000. It stops feeling like savings. It starts feeling like proof. Proof that he's not actually stuck. Proof that the system works if you let it. Proof that the gap between him and that Tuesday photo wasn't talent or luck or income. It was one decision, repeated, automated, invisible. Year 10. Marcus is now 41 years old. He's contributed $114,000 to his index fund. But his balance, $165,000. He made $51,000 doing absolutely nothing except letting time work. And that $165,000 is now generating its own income. At 7% annual return, that's roughly $11,550 a year in passive income. That's $962 a month. That's almost exactly the $950 he automated 10 years ago. Which means Marcus now has $950 a month coming in from money that's not attached to his job. Money that doesn't care if he goes to work. Money that grows whether he's tired or motivated or stuck in a parking lot at 7:43 on a Monday morning. That's not retirement. That's not freedom yet. But that's the second lane finally opening up. That's the moment where Marcus realizes something the guy in that Tuesday photo figured out years before. The gap wasn't about how much you earn. It was about how much of your life you're willing to let your money earn for you instead. If you made it this far, you saw exactly what Marcus saw. You saw what happens when one decision, one boring, automated, invisible decision, gets 10 years of compound growth. You saw that the gap between the parking lot and the Tuesday photo isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't even income. It's a number, one single number, and the discipline to let it work without interfering. Here's what I want you to understand before you close this video. You don't need to be rich to start. Marcus wasn't. You don't need to time the market perfectly. You don't need to understand everything about finance. You just need to understand this. Money that works while you sleep compounds faster than money that works while you're awake. That's not philosophy, that's mathematics. The $950 Marcus automated 10 years ago became $165,000. The $962 that arrives every month now came from nowhere. He earned it. It came from the second lane, the one running alongside your job, the one almost nobody uses because almost nobody knows it exists. This isn't about getting rich quick. This is about getting free slowly. And slowly is the only speed that actually works. If this video taught you something, if Marcus's story landed with you the way it landed with me, subscribe. Because next week we're breaking down exactly how to automate your first $950. We're showing you the 3 index funds that have outperformed 90% of professional investors. We're answering every question about passive income that keeps you up at night. Join the community. Ask your questions. Share your wins when they come. Because the only thing stronger than compound interest is a community of people who understand it. See you next time.